I am a conservative. I'm a patriotic American. I'm an Hispanic. I'm an immigrant son, and I happen to work for CNN. I am so thrilled to be here. I had a brief moment with the Vice President. I'll be very quick because we want to hear from the Vice President. But I had a brief moment with the Vice President just now, and he said, I watch you on CNN, and he said, you stay in the pocket like Fran Tarkenton. I quickly looked it up because I thought this was the case, and it's true. Fran Tarkenton has been sacked more than any quarterback in NFL history. So I guess it means I can handle some blows and some sacks. But listen, it is so wonderful to be here with you. And one thing I will tell you about mainstream media, one of the great things about 2016, of the many great things of our incredible victory in 2016, was that I was able to tell the mainstream media, able to tell my colleagues that we won that amazing upset win in 2016, largely because of Hispanics. And that drove them crazy. And we're going to do it again in 2020. Now, it is my Viva Trump. It is my privilege to introduce to you today a native daughter of Florida, a Latina, the Director of Strategic Communications for the White House, Mercedes Schlapp. Please give her a big welcome.
Tengo a mami y a papi aquí conmigo y mis dos tíos. ¡Viva Trump! ¡Viva Mike Pence! ¡Viva America! Mami, ¿me traíste el cafecito cubano y los pastelitos? Bueno, estoy en mi casa. Estoy con estos gran amigos del presidente. Es un honor estar aquí con ustedes para lanzar Latinos for Trump Coalition. Y ustedes son gran americanos. Ustedes luchan por la libertad de este país. Y seguimos rogando para esos países como Venezuela, como Cuba, como Nicaragua, para que ellos y ese pueblo tengan libertades, como lo tenemos aquí en los Estados Unidos. Déjame decirte algo. Tenemos con nosotros los luchadores de libertad en el presidente Donald Trump y el vicepresidente Mike Pence. I have seen these great men in action every day. They have strong convictions for their family, for their faith, and for this great country. They are leaders of action and results. If they say they're going to do something, they do it. They are men of great heart and great courage. And they have a deep love for this Latino community, a deep appreciation for the hard work and dedication that you all give to your families. And they love and appreciate that. They also fight for our democracy every day, putting America first. They protect our freedoms, and they uplift all Americans, all Latinos. They don't leave anyone behind. And I tell you, both the President and the Vice President are inspirations in my life and the life of my family. Cuando yo era una niña chiquitica, en Kendall, who's from Hialeah? Who's from Kendall? ¿Y de las sabueseras? Okay. Miami Beach. Number one. Cuando yo me sentaba a comer el arroz blanco y frijoles negros, Mami no le gustaba cocinar mucho, pero me sentaba con mis tíos, con mis tías, con mis padres. Y mi padre me recordaba siempre de la fragilidad de la democracia. Y me habló del sufrimiento que esta familia mía pasó en Cuba, donde mi padre fue prisionero político por 6 años bajo el régimen castrista. Hay y tantas personas que perdieron su vida. Y donde vimos un sufrimiento de tantos miles de personas que perdieron sus libertades, perdieron sus casas, sus negocios. Y eso es algo que ahora estamos viendo, que cuando mi padre vio a Donald Trump el primer día, dijo, ese es mi presidente, y yo voy a votar por el presidente Trump. Porque él sabía desde el principio que el presidente iba a ser un gran líder. And now, they taught me, my parents taught me the importance of protecting and defending our freedoms and our democracy. They've talked to me about el fracaso del comunismo, el fracaso del socialismo. Te digo, the socialist experiment has failed. And guess what the Democrats are talking about? Socialism, radicalism, extremism. They are leading America into a dangerous and extreme path, and we in this room and outside of the room need to stop the Democrats. They have tried to silence us. They are trying to change the course of America, and we will stop them. I'll take 6 years for that. And yes, my friends, mis amigos, mi familia, we are at a tipping point in America. We have an obligation to our children, our grandchildren, our nieces, our nephews, that we need to ensure that President Trump and Vice President Pence win in 2020. We need to recruit, we need to energize, we need to fight for this great and transformational president and vice president. And with your energy, con tu energía, con tus oraciones, con tu corazón, vamos a ganar y América va a ganar. But we can't do this without prayer. So now I would like to invite to the podium a dear friend of mine, Pastor Ramiro Peña, to deliver the invocation.
Thank you, Mercedes. Well, good morning to the most passionate supporters of Trump-Pence in America. Let's start by inviting the fire of God's Holy Spirit over these proceedings. Amen? Amen. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we humble ourselves before you to seek your blessing on this day. We ask for your mercy on our land and seek your guidance for our leaders. Give us leaders, Lord, who will honor you, worship you, and reverently fear you. Please send your holy angels to surround the men and women of our military around the world and keep them from violence and harm. And forgive us here at home, Lord, for the mindless violence perpetrated on the unborn every day. Now we lift up our president and vice president to you. Let your presence be real to them. Give them wisdom from above. And keep their families safe from all harm as we declare that no weapon formed against our president and vice president or their families will prosper. And may we as a nation forever stand in agreement with our president when he declares that in America we worship God, not government. Heavenly Father, we humbly say these things to you. And now we declare, Que la gracia del Señor Jesucristo, el amor de Dios Padre y la comunión del Espíritu Santo sea con cada uno de nosotros. Amén.
And now I'd like to bring on stage Luis Quiñones to deliver the Pledge of Allegiance.
Hello, Miami. How are you? I want you to remember one thing. Each one of you is going to have to be an ambassador to go out and recruit 10. Make a promise that each one of you is going to go out and recruit 10 people, and they are going to recruit 10 more, because we cannot allow the United States to become a failed Venezuela. Please accompany me with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Wrap.
Amen. USA, 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 USA. We stand for the American flag. We all stand for the American flag. Now, we'd like to welcome on stage Kathy Jimenez to sing the national anthem. Since I can't sing, so.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free? Oh, and the home of the brave.
Well, we have our star of the show, but we need a couple minutes, so we're going to take a little 3-minute break. Pero un minuto. I'm going to go take a picture with my parents.
Morning. I'm happy and thrilled to be here because we Latinos, puertorriqueños, cubanos, venezolanos, hondureños, estamos orgullosos de lo que ha hecho el presidente Trump y Mike Pence en estos 4 años. ¿Y por qué es eso? ¿Por qué es eso? Porque esta ha sido la administración que ha producido más de 6 millones de nuevos trabajos para los americanos, incluyendo la comunidad hispana. Esta ha sido la administración que ha permitido que aumente la cantidad de latinos que son dueños de su propia propiedad. Esta es la administración que ha permitido bajar el desempleo en la comunidad hispana y aumentar el empleo a números récords en nuestra historia. ¿Ha sido gracias a quién? Al presidente Trump y a Mike Pence. In my case, I will tell you this. We all just want to have a better future, better quality of life, opportunities for our people, for our families, always protecting our family values. And this administration has a president that has been focused on doing just that. He always gets things done. We hate people that talk too much and never accomplish anything. So this is the administration that is focused always on getting things done, getting jobs done, getting opportunities done, and increasing the opportunities from homeowners, business owners, always Latinos. I'm the first woman elected from Puerto Rico as a member of Congress. And that's a great responsibility as well. And of course, I support statehood for Puerto Rico because we want to have the same opportunities. But you know what? In the moment of need, when we got hit by Hurricane Irma and Maria, I got the opportunity to travel with President Trump. And I got the opportunity to travel as well with Vice President Mike Pence. And both of them were asking me, what do you need? What the people of Puerto Rico need? And every time I was going through my list, he was saying, get it done. Get it done. Assign the money. And this is the administration, Congress, President and Vice President, that approved more money for the reconstruction of Puerto Rico than any other administration in the U.S. history. And of course, it was the hard hurricane in history. And we're going to need more than that. But you know what? $42 billion were assigned. $42 billion were assigned in just 2 years to get things started. And I'm proud, I'm grateful Like all Latinos and Hispanics are grateful for giving and having those opportunities to thrive and improve our economy, improve our healthcare, improve also the relationships as American, living the American dream. I don't want Puerto Rico, I don't want America to live the experience Venezuela is having. I don't want in American soil to have what the Cuban people has been suffering for many, many years. What's happening today in Nicaragua, it's something that hurts us directly. We can't let those guys continue to spread that kind of ideology. And that's the reason we've been having an administration with President Trump and Vice President Pence, always fighting them directly with sanctions, with actions, with sanctions and with actions, improving the opportunities for Latinos across the nation. We want to have the same opportunities. And again, it is because President Trump and Vice President Mike Pence that Latinos are thriving in our economy. God bless America, and God bless President Trump and Vice President Mike Pence.
It's so great to be here in my personal capacity and taking some time off to be here with the Vice President and the team. And I have to say, I've been able to see this young lady take off in such an amazing way. She's a Golden Panther like myself, a proud Golden Panther. And very proud to see her just grow and succeed in Florida politics. And our wonderful Lieutenant Governor from the great state of Florida. It is my honor to introduce Jeanette Nunez.
Good morning. Buenos días. Buenos dias, good morning. It's such an honor to be here with you all today, not only as your first Latina Lieutenant Governor in the great state of Florida, but as your co-chair of the Latinos for Trump Coalition. Thank you all. Thank you for being here. What an exciting day to be a Floridian. Just last week, President Trump was in Orlando kicking off his re-election campaign. For those of you that were there, it was a great event, wasn't it? And now, less than a week later, the Trump campaign is back here with our very special guest, the Vice President of the United States, Mr. Mike Pence. In November of last year, Florida was on the brink of falling prey to the Democratic Socialist agenda. But thanks to you all standing here, we were able to have our voices heard and make sure that socialism will never be accepted here. El presidente Trump ha declarado que los Estados Unidos nunca será un país socialista. ¿Estamos de acuerdo? In the last 3 years, we have seen Latinos be the beneficiaries of the policies propelled by President Donald J. Trump. Promises made, promises kept. And it's more than just a slogan. It's our political reality for those of us here in the state of Florida and those of us across the entire United States of America. Because we recognize that our country needed leadership, somebody that would fight for hardworking Americans, somebody that would jumpstart our economy. And for those of us that know, President Trump kept his promises. He promised to bring jobs back to America. And now the unemployment rate is the lowest it's been in 50 years. And guess what? The lowest in the history for Latinos throughout this country. He promised to cut taxes And now the middle class has seen higher take-home pay, and Latino median income is the highest it's ever been. He promised to support our military and our veterans and our first responders. And he promised to stand firm against tyrants like Nicolás Maduro. And he will never accept socialist regimes to take hold in Latin America. He will continue to fight for freedom and democracy. In fact, President Trump was the first international leader to recognize Juan Guaidó as the legitimate leader of Venezuela. So President Trump has brought more jobs, lower taxes, more prosperity for all Floridians and hardworking families across this country. I stand today here honored to be your co-chair for the Latinos for Trump Coalition. Because as we approach the 2020 election, it is our job to show our support for a president that shares our values, values of faith, family, hard work, and opportunity for all. Freedom. And freedom, absolutely. And while the left seeks to vilify those who disagree with them, we recognize that the 2020 re-election of President Trump is what they fear the most. Because why? Because our president is committed to the American dream, the dream that knows no limits, the dream that allows for innovation and ingenuity, the dream that allows us to be a beacon of freedom for the world, and a dream that under President Trump, we will continue to thrive and prosper as Americans. That is what is at stake in 2020. We have a choice to make. We're at a crossroads. One path is being paved by the extreme left with radical failed policies, the likes of Bernie Sanders. The other path keeps us on the road that President Trump continues to pave, the road to prosperity, to economic growth, job creation, and freedom. Amigos, hoy estamos aquí unidos para reforzar nuestro compromiso, para reelegir el presidente, para unirnos, para continuar luchando en contra del socialismo. Nos unimos para continuar realizando el sueño americano y para continuar permitiendo que nuestros hijos y nuestros nietos hereden un país más seguro, más libre y más próspero. Friends, together we are here, united, to keep Florida red, to stand against socialism, to stand in favor of the American dream, and to allow our children and grandchildren to inherit a safer, stronger, and more prosperous America. And today I have the distinct honor of introducing a man that knows our president well. He is a friend and an advocate for the Latino community, and he will lead our rallying cry for victory. Born in Indiana, Mike Pence was raised to believe in the importance of faith, family, and hard work. He's a champion for limited government, lower taxes, and more responsibility on behalf of the individual. He is a former congressman and former governor of the Hoosier State. And in July of 2016, President Donald Trump wisely chose Mike Pence as his running mate. So without further ado, please help me give a warm Florida welcome to our friend, to a leader, and someone who continue to champion for Latinos, the Vice President of the amazing country that we all live in, the United States of America.
It is great to be back in the Sunshine State for the 2019 kickoff of Latinos for Trump. Thank you all for being here today. What an exciting day. And it's my honor to be here with so many strong Latino and Hispanic leaders and families. But I got to tell you, I'm here for one reason and one reason only. And that is because Florida and America need 4 more years of President Donald Trump. To Lieutenant Governor Nunez, how about that great Lieutenant Governor here in Florida? What an amazing leader. To my friend Jennifer, Congresswoman Gonzalez Colon, thank you so much for your great leadership. To the great Mercedes Schlapp, and to our co-chairs, Steve Cortez, Luis Quinones, Pastor Pena, to all the other elected officials from Miami-Dade County, all across Florida, all across America, welcome to the kickoff of one of the most important coalitions of the 2020 campaign. You were here when it started. And to all of you, I want to bring greetings from a friend of mine. I got to be honest with you, when I told him yesterday afternoon in the Oval Office that I was going to see all of you today, I think he sounded just a little bit jealous. So allow me to bring greetings and gratitude from a great champion of Latino and Hispanic Americans, someone who's been expanding opportunities for Latino businesses since day one of this administration. I bring greetings from the 45th President of the United States of America, President Donald Trump. You know, it's the greatest honor of my life to serve as Vice President to President Donald Trump.
Love you, Mike.
He's a man who says what he means. He means what he says. He gets up every day and fights to keep the promises that he's made to every American. And that includes our great Latino and Hispanic communities all across this country. You know, since the founding of this nation, Latino Americans have made extraordinary contributions to the history of America. They've created jobs and businesses that have built our middle class. They've lit up our national culture with the rich heritage and with their profound faith. They've stepped up and served our country in uniform in times of great peril. And all Americans everywhere draw inspiration from the Latino Americans' steadfast love for liberty. We do. And I promise you, from the first day of this administration, President Trump has been fighting for the values that are really synonymous with Hispanic and Latino Americans. Hard work, faith, family, freedom, educational choice, and the American dream. As the President himself promised in his words, we would, quote, unleash the full potential of the Latino community by removing government burdens, restoring safety and security to our neighborhoods, and defend America's interests so that all our citizens can prosper. And in over the last 2 years and a half, that's exactly what he's done. President Trump promised to get this economy moving again. And President Donald Trump delivered. With the strong support of our Republican allies in Congress, this president rolled back more federal red tape than any president in American history. He unleashed American energy. We forged new free, fair, and reciprocal trade deals, and President Donald Trump signed the largest tax cuts and tax reform in American history. That's what we call promises made and promises kept. And I don't have to tell all of you great business leaders in the room who are with us today and those looking on, the results have been nothing short of remarkable. Since Election Day 2016, businesses large and small have created 5.8 million new jobs across this country. The American dream is roaring back for every American. Under this president, the unemployment rate has hit a 50-year low. The unemployment rate for women is at a 66-year low. And under the leadership of President Donald Trump, in 2.5 short years, we have the lowest unemployment rate ever recorded for Hispanic Americans. Everywhere you look, confidence is back. Jobs are coming back. In a word, America is back, but we're just getting started. I mean, you look at the results in this economy from the agenda that President Trump has driven forward, and I think you just have to conclude. President Donald Trump is the best friend that Latino and Hispanic businesses have ever had in the White House. And think about it. According to a survey that came out just a few months ago, 87% of Hispanic business owners said that they were planning to expand their businesses over the next 12 months. And more than half of them are planning to hire more Americans. That's a record of success and a promise of even more success in the future that should inspire every American. And the stories of success in the Latino and Hispanic community have just been incredible. Like a nurse I just heard about this morning here in Miami. She was serving as a nurse in a local hospital, but she saw that there was a demand for more home health services that simply weren't being met in the community. So she did what every great American entrepreneur does. She went out and started a business. 15 years later, she now has more than 375 employees providing home health care across the Miami-Dade area. Let's hear it for Janet Hernandez. Janet, where are you? Great job. Congratulations. I mean, Janet's living the American dream. And thank you, Janet, for what you're doing and for the example that you've set. You know, but to ensure more success stories like Janet's and more economic growth, we need two things. We need enthusiasm just like that. And we need 4 more years of President Donald Trump in the White House. You know, against that record of success, it's remarkable to think about what the other side is trying to offer the American people. At a time of unbridled growth and prosperity for Latino and Hispanic Americans, Democrats are going to gather here in Miami tomorrow night to begin to make their case to the American people. I mean, they're going to take to the stage. They're going to take to this after a season where President Trump has been cutting taxes, rolling back red tape, giving the American people more freedom, more prosperity. They're actually going to take to the stage and advocate more taxes, more regulation, something called Medicare for All, and the Green New Deal. You know, I think you all know what Medicare for All really means is quality health care for none. And the only thing green about the Green New Deal is how much green it's going to cost all of us if they ever sign it into law. The American people know better. And most remarkably of all, tomorrow night, many of their leading candidates and the night after that are actually going to openly advocate for an economic system that has impoverished millions around the world. Now, Latino Americans know better than most about the cost of socialism. It's impoverished generations. It's stolen the liberty of millions. I know that for many of you in this room, many of your families fled socialist regimes in this hemisphere, and you came to freedom in America. You know, Latino Americans know that it was freedom, not socialism, that gave us the most prosperous and powerful nation in the history of the world. It was freedom. Latino Americans know that it was freedom, not socialism, that ended slavery, won 2 world wars, and stands today as a beacon of hope for all the world. And so here at this kickoff of Latinos for Trump, we must say, as the President said in his State of the Union address, America will never be a socialist country. It really is all about freedom. In fact, this president has stood strong for freedom in this country, and I'm proud to say, all across this hemisphere. As we speak, and over the last 2 years, President Trump has been standing strong with freedom-loving people in Venezuela, with their legitimate President Juan Guaido, and we will stand with the people of Venezuela until their libertad is restored. And President Trump also kept his promise. Kept his promise when he reversed the failed policies of the last administration toward the dictator in Cuba. You know, I understand that we have here with us a man who fled the Castro regime. He came to find freedom in America. He's a veteran of the Bay of Pigs invasion, and he's a hero. Would you all join me in recognizing the heroism, the contribution, the example, and the leadership of Colonel Felix Rodriguez? And to all of you, to Colonel Rodriguez, to all those looking on, I promise you, under the leadership of President Donald Trump in this White House, it will always be Que viva Cuba Libre. So we've stood for freedom at home and abroad. But to ensure our continued prosperity, we must recognize that security is the foundation of our prosperity. And from the first days of this administration, I'm proud to report this president has made the strongest military in the history of the world stronger still. President Donald Trump signed the largest increase in our national defense since the days of Ronald Reagan. You know, throughout our history, Latinos and Hispanic Americans have worn the uniform of the United States and served with distinction. We honor their service then. We honor their service today. If you are a veteran who wore the uniform of the United States, would you mind just raising your hand so we can thank you one more time for your service to this country? Thank you. Thank you for your service. There are tremendous veterans in the room with us today. That's been true throughout the history of this country, of this great community. Men and women like a young man who fled Cuba as a child, who wore the uniform in the Vietnam War, and later went on to become a mayor of Hialeah. Would you join me in thanking for his service in uniform and back here at home to Sergeant Julio Martinez. Where are you, Julio? You know, Latino and Hispanic Americans I know are grateful. I hear it in this room today. This president has stood with the men and women who wear the uniform of our armed forces, but I know you're also grateful that this president has stood strong with the men and women of law enforcement at every level across this country, including the millions of Latino and Hispanic Americans who serve on the thin blue line today. We honor them. Because Latino and Hispanic Americans believe in law and order, and we support our law enforcement. Well, you don't have to doubt this president knows a nation without borders is not a nation. President Trump has taken decisive steps. As we think about enforcing the laws of this country, this president has taken decisive steps to secure our border and support the tens of thousands of men and women who courageously and compassionately enforce the laws of our immigration across this country, including Customs and Border Protection, and the men and women of ICE. You know, it's amazing to think about the debate the last 6 months. Despite what Democrats and their allies in the media were saying over the last 6 months, you all know we have a crisis at our southern border. I've seen it firsthand. It's heartbreaking. Impoverished families are being enticed to hand over themselves and their vulnerable children to human traffickers and drug cartels in Central America to make the long and dangerous journey up the peninsula. We hear they charge about $5,000 cash per person to encourage these families to take a journey on which many face violence, abuse, or worse. The truth is, we're on track this year for nearly 1 million people coming across our border. And it's amazing to think that Democrats and many in the media spent the last 6 months saying it was a manufactured crisis. Remember that? Well, the only thing that was manufactured was their outrage. But as they denied the crisis, you all deserve to know that Democrats have also been denying funding for humanitarian assistance, for facilities to support the courageous men and women of Customs and Border Protection who serve every day in our system and our facilities that are overwhelmed by this crisis. In the midst of that Democrat obstruction, I'm proud to report to all of you gathered here today that President Trump has taken decisive action to end the crisis at our southern border, and we are securing our border through presidential action. Under the president's leadership, we've made historic investments in border security. We fought to support the courageous and compassionate work of the CBP. And after the president declared a national emergency in January of this year, we've already started to build that wall on the southern border of the United States. Oh, we're building. We'll have 400 miles done by the end of next year. But you know, one of the things the President and I know is that border security won't do it all. That's why this President's been demanding changes and reforms in our immigration laws. It's those laws that are driving the crisis at the border as we speak. And the President and I and our entire administration, I promise you, are going to continue to call on Congress to close the loopholes that human traffickers are using to entice people to make that long and dangerous journey and give our Customs and Border Protection personnel the resources that they need to do their job. Many of you remember just a few short weeks ago, President Trump not only been demanding that Congress do their job, the Democrats in Congress, but he also said it was time for Mexico to step up. And thanks to President Trump's leadership, Mexico has done just that. Because of the President's strong stand, Mexico agreed to send 6,000 National Guard to their border with Guatemala. They've agreed to take 100% of Central Americans back into Mexico while their asylum applications are being processed. And I don't know if you already heard, just in the newspapers this morning, Mexico announced they're sending 15,000 more National Guard to their northern border and the southern border of the United States. You know, I gotta be sure that tomorrow night we're going to hear a lot of finger pointing here in Miami up on that stage. But you know, it's been the Democrats. It's been Democrats who've been denying that there's a crisis at our border. It's been Democrats who've been denying us the resources and reforms to end that crisis. It's time for Democrats in Congress to do their job and end this crisis once and for all. I mean, the truth is, what Americans are going to hear the next couple of nights here in Miami only confirm that Mexico has done more in the last 10 days to secure our southern border than Democrats have done in the last 10 years. True. The President's done his job. Our Border Patrol agents are doing their job every day. Yes, sir. With professionalism and compassion. Yes. My fellow Republicans, it's time for Democrats in Congress to do their job. Yes, sir. To give us more support for facilities for Customs and Border Protection, to close the loopholes that human traffickers are using to exploit and harm vulnerable families. But I'll make you a promise. Whatever Democrats want to do to continue to deny and obstruct our efforts at reform, we're going to secure this border, and we're going to fix this broken immigration system once and for all. That's a promise. So the last 2.5 years, we've made great progress, but there are challenges before us. It's been a story of prosperity and increasing security. But Latino and Hispanic Americans also know it's also been a story of having a president who has stood strong for the enduring values that have made this country great. America first, baby! I'm proud to report to you President Trump has actually appointed more conservatives to our Federal Court of Appeals in our first 2 years than any president in American history. True. And they are all strong and principled men and women who I promise you will protect all the God-given liberties enshrined in our Constitution, like the freedom of religion, the freedom of speech, and the Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms. And beyond those Bill of Rights principles, I got to tell you, I couldn't be more proud, maybe, than anything else, I couldn't be more proud to serve alongside a president who stands without apology for the sanctity of human life. It's amazing to think we live in a time when Democrats running for president are out there advocating late-term abortion and defending infanticide. And probably tomorrow night you're going to see there seems to be even a litmus test in the Democrat campaign for president that the taxpayer funding of abortion, I guess, is now required for all of their candidates to be supported throughout pregnancy. Well, I'll make a promise to Latino and Hispanic Americans. This president, this administration will always stand for the right to life. So we've made great progress, my fellow Republicans. We do have challenges, but this president's leadership is leaning into those challenges. You know, sometimes people will come up to me and they'll tell me, tell the president to just keep going. And I always smile and say, you know, that's not something you ever have to say to President Donald Trump. He never stops fighting. He never stops moving forward. And the truth is, in just 2.5 years under his leadership, America's standing tall again. We're making progress again. Like he likes to say, we're winning again. America's respected around the world. And all of that's why we need 4 more years of President Donald Trump in the White House. You know, as the president said just last week when he and I went down and got together with 20,000 of our closest friends up in Orlando, President Trump said it well. He said, we're not going back. He said, we're going to keep on fighting for every man, woman, and child across this country. With every ounce of heart and might and soul and sweat, we're going to keep making America great again. That's our cause. Here at Latinos for Trump, that's our mission. We're going to keep making America great again, but to do that, we got to re-elect this president. And all of those that have been supporting this president's agenda at every level of government. You know, we've done so much in just 2.5 years, but we got a lot more to do, man. The truth is, with 4 more years of President Donald Trump, it's going to be 4 more years is going to mean more jobs. 4 more years means more judges. 4 more years and we're going to fix that broken immigration system. And in 4 more years, we're going to drain that swamp. So America has a choice. And all of you gathered here at this historic kickoff, I want to say to each one of you today, we've all got to do our part. We've all got to do our part in the days ahead. You know, the truth is the choice in this election couldn't be clearer. The stakes couldn't be higher. I mean, today we have a president who loves this country, who never quits, who never backs down, who believes in the American people with boundless potential of every American to live the American dream. And he fights for you every day. I see it. I'm with him just about every day. And it's real. Sometimes people ask me, what's he really like in person? And you know what I tell them? You ever seen a rally? Same man. Same energy, same determination, Same drive. Whether he's in a room with 2 people or 20,000, I'm telling you what you see is what you get. And what you get in President Donald Trump is an American president committed to make America great again. It's real. And and I think what the passion that you see in this president, I hope you also see in his vice president. I just want to tell you that passion. Thank you. That passion, I want to tell you where it comes from, for real. It comes from a belief in the American dream. Okay? Like so many of you in this room, the president's family story and my family story didn't begin in America. For him, his grandfather immigrated to this country. His father built a business with his own 2 hands. He went on to take that business over to Manhattan Island and build a company with a global reputation. Incredible. My grandfather immigrated to this country as well. My dad built a small gas station business in southern Indiana. I went into public service, followed a calling into public life. I always tell people, other than a whole bunch of zeros, President Trump and I have a lot in common. A lot of zeros. And it's a belief in the American dream. And it's not because it's a cliche or an idea, it's because we've lived it. Like so many of the families here, you've lived the American dream. You've had the opportunity in this great free society that your families came to, my family came to, through a system of legal immigration that gave you the opportunity to become Americans and to prosper. And it's that dream that's animating us today. Sometimes people ask me what I was thinking about on Inauguration Day, standing up there in the cold. It was a humbling day for me. Hard to describe. But I kept thinking about my grandfather. Because you see, he was born and raised in a little 2-room house in northwest Ireland, in a town called Tubacurry. And the legend in my family is that his mother walked him out the front door and up a hill and pointed off to the Ox Mountains to the west and said, you have to go to America because there's a future there for you. Well, it was April 1923 that Richard Michael Cawley stepped onto Ellis Island. He went to Chicago, Illinois. He drove a bus for 40 years. He was the proudest man I ever knew. I can still hear that Irish brogue ringing in my ears. And because of what he did, the sacrifices he made, that's how Michael Richard Pence became Vice President of the United States of America. That's what we're fighting for. That's what we're fighting for. Men and women of Latinos for Trump, that's the story we have to go tell. Everything I talked about today about the progress that we've made, we need you to go tell people. Tell people, particularly in the Latino and Hispanic community, not just across the state of Florida, but across this country. Tell them about the progress we've made, the jobs that have been created. Tell them about the security that we've been able to advance and the way this president and this administration have stood for the faith and values that are synonymous with the heritage and the history of this great community. Amen. You just got to go tell them. And when you go out and do that, as I close, I just want to encourage you to have faith. Amen. Have faith. Have faith. Have faith in the American people. Have faith in the people of the Latino and Hispanic community that love liberty. That love freedom, and that if we take the message to them, if those ancient words inscribed on the Liberty Bell become our anthem in Latinos for Trump, which is that if we proclaim liberty throughout all the land and unto all the inhabitants there, of you give the American people a choice between more government and more freedom, they'll choose freedom every time. So believe in the American people and go tell them what we've done. And secondly, have faith in this president and all of those that stand with us in our administration, in the Congress of the United States, here in the great state of Florida. People like your great Lieutenant Governor, your great Governor, Ron DeSantis. We've got allies and strong allies. Have faith in all these leaders. And lastly, I'd encourage you to have that other kind of faith. Have that other kind of faith. If you're inclined to bow the head and bend the knee in the next 18 months, I encourage you to do it. I really do. And on this one, I know we're here kicking off a political coalition that's all about seeing this president reelected. But on this one, I know the president wouldn't mind if I just encourage you to just pray for all of the American people. Pray for every American, for the security and the prosperity and the well-being of every American in this one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all, because prayer matters. So men and women of Latinos for Trump, time's a wasting. You got work to do. Got 18 months to go, and I can't wait to get back to the White House to tell the president about the enthusiasm and the excitement I've seen here today. I leave here with renewed confidence that if all of you in this room and all of you looking on around the country do everything we can to carry the message of this president's extraordinary record and vision, his commitment to prosperity and security and freedom and values, to everyone across the Latino and Hispanic community, that with your continued support and energy and enthusiasm, with strong support in leaders elected at every level, with President Donald Trump back in the White House for 4 more years, and with God's help, we will make America safer than ever before. We will make America more prosperous than ever before. And with President Donald Trump in the White House for 4 more years, we will keep making America great again. Let's go get it done. Thank you.